Today's Monday mindset shift is a little bit of some hot tea. This is coffee, but whatever. It is like a rainy, gross, cloudy day here in Florida. We're going to get cozy. We're going to cuddle up because I have some very unfortunate news for my fellow perfectionist, high achieving, type A, eldest daughter ladies out there. And it is that rest is indeed productive and necessary.
This is the worst.
I know. Okay. The last thing that we want to do is take a break from our never-ending to-do list that we feel like we can never catch up on. All right. But I've had to learn this lesson the hard way. So I'm going to share it with you so that hopefully you can avoid the terrible, terrible lessons and start to make some changes in your life. And hopefully you can learn from my mistakes instead of having to learn them the hard way yourself. Okay. Welcome back to Monday Mindset Shift, where we start our week off with just a few minutes to take a new perspective, think about things in a new way, and hopefully make our lives a little bit easier and help us get that much closer to our goals. Today, we're talking about why rest is not only necessary, but it's actually productive. And you should be intentional about it, not think of it as an afterthought or wait until you are forced to rest. I think it's very common, specifically among women, but in society as a whole, that you need to earn your rest. You need to put in so much work and work so hard, and then, and only then, can you rest. Only when you achieve the big goal, only when you are at the top is when you can take a step and be like, I did it. I'm going to rest a little bit now. And that cannot be further from what you should actually be doing. When we treat rest like we can only take it when we've earned it by doing enough activity and running ourselves into the ground, we end up operating from this state of depletion and exhaustion 24/7. And that's not good for anyone. You basically end up with this really vicious cycle of working until you're burnt out, and then you're forced to recover and you feel guilty and you feel ashamed about it. And then when you start to feel like just an ounce of recovery from that, then you go right back into work again until you start the cycle all over again. And this is not only an exhausting and terrible way to live, but what happens when you are constantly performing from this vicious cycle is that you are underperforming, under-delivering, and have lower quality, lower efficiency, lower creativity in your day-to-day than you would have if you were rested and refreshed and restored from taking rest. Now, this is something that is super important for me to share because I am actually in the process of recovering from a really, really awful burnout experience where I almost couldn't function in like my everyday normal life because I was so burnt out. I was so exhausted from running myself into the ground that it was hard to perform just regular daily activities and get through my day. So I really want to encourage you to please take what I'm saying to heart and start to implement some of these changes because I don't want to see you suffer the way that I had to, okay? I want you to do better than me. So as this topic has become a little bit more popular and talked about, there are things coming out, studies coming out, and just people sharing their own experiences that when you take regular, consistent breaks, that you are better able to manage the tasks that you're doing. You're better able to manage your day-to-day life, and you have more creativity, you're more efficient, you're more effective in your work and the tasks that you're trying to accomplish. There was a study done, and I'll put it up on the screen, but I remember talking about this a long time ago, and I obviously did not take it to heart, but I remember talking about this a long time ago when I did a workshop on health and wellness for a networking group that I was in. And the study basically took surgeons and they had them perform some routine tasks that they do every single day in their jobs. Then they deprived them of sleep and had them perform those same exact tasks over again. And not only were they slower and less effective in doing those same exact tasks that they had done before, they also made a lot more mistakes, which when you are a doctor, you want to minimize, right? But we also want to do that in our everyday lives. So what can we do if we feel this pressure to never take rest, that we always have to be on, we always have to be working, but we know that if we're not resting, we're making more mistakes, we're mentally fatigued, we're not as creative, we're not as efficient, we're not as effective. How can we start to recalibrate? How can we start to shift our minds a little bit so that we can be strategic with our rest and not feel guilty about it? The first thing I want you to think about is that our brains need downtime to process the information that we are inputting to our brains. It needs time to process, to make connections, and to come up with creative solutions. This is why there's that phenomenon where you're in the shower and you have like the most incredible, amazing ideas, or like you wake up with amazing ideas that you didn't have the day before. And that's because your brain has that break. You're not doing a million other things. You're not focusing on a bajillion tasks. You're not distracted by scrolling on your phone. Your brain actually has this time to say, okay, let's take a step back. Here's all the things that are coming at me. Here's all the things I've been trying to figure out. And it can start to sort through those and start to creatively problem solve for you. If you are constantly just go, 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 and you never give yourself that downtime, it's really hard for you to start to work through things. The next thing that I want you to think of, because I know that you have experienced this, right? Throughout the day, you have to make more and more and more choices, and you start to feel less and less and less inclined to make a choice, and your decision making gets shorter and not as sharp, right? So think about, you get to the end of the day and you have to figure out what to make for dinner, and you're like, why is it so hard to come up with an idea for dinner? Like, it's just one of the most aggravating and frustrating things, because by the end of the day, by that point, you are so mentally drained from making all the decisions that you've had to make before that point. From the second you wake up, what am I going to wear? You try on 10 different outfits. You're wondering, like, does this make me look fat? Do I like this? I don't like how this fits my stomach. I don't like how my butt looks in this. And then you're trying to figure out what I want to have for breakfast. What am I going to do here? Oh my gosh, is there going to be, like, you're thinking about all of these things, making all of these micro decisions that you don't even really know of, in addition to the ones that you are aware of. So your brain just starts to lose that capacity to make clear, quality decisions as the day goes on, because you just get more and more exhausted. So the way we combat this is by making rest a strategic priority, being proactive about it versus reactive. We're not going to wait until we are so exhausted that we can't move, we can't think, we like want to just collapse on the couch. We are going to plan our rest, plan our recovery in ways that are going to be most beneficial for us. And I know that this can be hard, right? Because, for example, in my life, I work a 9-to-5, and then I also have 2 businesses that I am trying to build outside of that. And I have struggled a lot, and I still have a hard time with it, but I've gotten a lot better with resting, with taking time off, because in my mind, I'm like, how can I take a whole day off or a half day off when I have so many things to do in order to get where I need to be and get where I want to be, right? I have this running task list that's never ending. And like every time I check off 5 things, 10 more are added. And how can I, like, in good conscience, rest and just like take time off when I know that this is there? And what I realized going through my burnout experience, which I might do a whole separate video on that, but when I was consistently putting the gas pedal to the floor, right? Not letting myself take any rest, any breaks, because I felt guilty about it, I was so much less effective in what I was doing. I was always busy, but I never felt like anything was getting done. I never felt like anything was getting accomplished. And I'm like, how can I be spending all of this time doing things and have like nothing to show for it, really? And it was just because I'm working from this place of exhaustion and like tiredness. And like I said, I wasn't making quality decisions. I wasn't being effective in my work. Things were taking me 2, 3, 4, 5 times longer than they should have because I was so tired and like I couldn't think right and I had to redo stuff. So now that I am more aware of this and more proactive with this, I am able to say, I'm taking Sunday off. That's my rest day, or maybe it's a Saturday, whatever's going on. and I'm not going to do anything related to work. I also have times throughout my day where I take downtime. So like my meals, for example, I used to like either be scrolling on TikTok while I ate or trying to work while I was eating. And that was no bueno either. That's not even good for your digestive system, your health, anything like that. So I started to implement mini rest throughout the day. So in the mornings, I have very intentional zero screen time, morning routine rituals to pour into me first. I take my lunch break. I'm not looking at any screens. That is my time to rest. If it's not a bajillion degrees outside, I go and sit on my porch. I go for a walk. I get outside in nature. And then same thing at the end of the day, I have a shut off time. This is the one that I struggle with the most. I have a shut off time where all the screens are off and then I'm having restorative kind of me time until I go to bed. So between my little breaks throughout the day and then my bigger break on the weekend, I'm allowing my mind that time to digest the information, digest all the things that I'm doing, to start to sort through problems that I'm working on and to be creative and to be refreshed and have new perspectives and come up with new ideas. If you're not giving yourself that space, allowing yourself to be undistracted, to be bored, quote unquote. So many people are afraid to be bored nowadays, but when you're bored, that's when your mind can flourish. I kind of think of this as similar to that saying, if you don't prioritize your health now, you will be forced to prioritize your illness. If you don't prioritize your rest now, you will be forced to prioritize it because you will be so burnt out that you will physically and mentally not be able to carry on, whether that's like for a few hours, for a few days, for a few weeks, whatever it is. It depends on your situation, right? So really making that shift from I don't have time to rest to I don't have time to not rest. I have to rest if I want to be at my best. You can think of that little rhyme. It sticks in your brain, okay? Another shift I want you to make is from rest is lazy to rest is productive. It is strategic. It is restorative, not lazy, okay? It's only lazy when all you do is rest, all right? There's that tipping point where it's like, okay, you're not doing anything. You haven't been doing anything. What's going on? But for most of us, rest is not lazy. Rest is productive, restorative, regenerative, strategic. And then the last thing I want you to think about is the shift from I will rest when I'm done to I take regular rest so that I can be at my best. I'm rhyming again. That's like a little mantra that you can take with you. Rest is best, okay? We're not burning out over here. We are all about long-term, lifelong habits, strategies, sustainability. Yes, there will be times where you need to go a little bit harder, whatever the case is, whatever you're trying to achieve, but we want to look at the big picture. That's going to be a whole nother topic is like time horizons, but we want to look at the big picture and make sure that we are taking actions and serving ourselves in a way that helps us get to that long-term vision, not just what am I going to do to get through today? So remember to protect your energy, protect your creativity, protect your decision-making skills, protect your efficiency and your effectiveness in your work and the things that you're trying to do in your goals. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite takeaway is from this video and how you're going to implement this into your week. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. I hope that it shifted your mind a little bit and helped you to take a new perspective. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe so you don't miss another Monday Mindset Shift. Share this with somebody who needs to hear this message, and I will see you next week. Bye.